On the 18th of December of 2021, I wanted to take a break from YouTube. It was the holidays right there, and I wanted to see family and friends without being involved with making YouTube videos. I knew at that time I was going to take about a month-long break, but I didn't realize some things were going to happen when I was away. On December 24th, Christmas Eve of all days, Miss ZZ decided to drop a video talking about her experiences with me, painting me as a hypocritical and petty person. Now, I'm not going to say I'm 100% in the right here, and I think a lot of this stuff occurred because the internet is a stupid place full of stupid people. And unfortunately, Miss ZZ falls into that category as well. Now, a lot of this stuff has to do with certain dates, so I'm going to be very specific and try to paint this as clearly as possible because I think one of my videos wasn't worded well, and I put too much faith in the internet to infer what I meant, and I think that was one of my biggest mistakes throughout this. In early of October 2021, Miss ZZ made a video calling out an animation channel known as Quick Sus for stealing and tracing her artwork and featuring it in their animation videos of Among Us characters versus Friday Night Funkin' characters. How Miss ZZ got this information was that a fan reached out to Miss ZZ in DMs explaining that they had seen Miss ZZ's artwork featured in one of the animations I happened to be criticizing in a video where I was talking about Friday Night Funkin' versus Among Us channels. When Miss ZZ made the video exposing Quick Sus for stealing and tracing her artwork, she failed to ever mention Quick Sus's name throughout the video, and at the beginning of the video mentioned my name, causing some people to be misinformed into thinking that I was the channel that stole her artwork. You can even see from Miss ZZ's description on the video about her artwork being traced, she says this: "I'd name drop the person who made the videos, but honestly, he's pretty easy to find anyways." Then she goes on to say this: "Pardon the strange, weird tonal shift at 112. Weenie Hut Jr. complained, so I had to edit out how I went out and discovered the artwork." I genuinely find it sad and funny that Miss ZZ is trying to paint me as being a petty person when she is going around and behaving like this instantly for being asked to maybe edit a section of her video out that was causing people to think that I was the channel that was stealing her artwork. You can even take the time to read this comment from somebody that watched both Miss ZZ's video as well as my video, who explains that they didn't think that it was that much of a big deal to edit me out of the video that was causing people to think that I was the person that was stealing Miss ZZ's art. They even go on to explain that they themselves thought that I was the one that was stealing the artwork from the way Miss ZZ presented the information. You can read this comment as well from the person that originally contacted Miss ZZ about Miss ZZ's artwork being stolen by Quick Sus. They made a comment on Miss ZZ's most recent videos saying that they feel like the drama is all their fault and that people were accidentally misinformed that Spete had stolen the artwork, but that wasn't really what they had said. Now, I want this person to know that it wasn't their fault. It was the way that Miss ZZ presented the information in the video. Unfortunately, at the time, I didn't download Miss ZZ's original video where her art was traced that caused people to think that I was the one that was, tracing her artwork. But I do believe there's enough evidence out there that her information that she presented in that video caused people to be misinformed. Now, with that said, I'm going to go over some things in the video titled Spete, a Petty and Hypocritical Experience. Now, I believe this video reeks of petty revenge, and I don't expect anything less from the person known as Miss ZZ. I mean, look at the thumbnail that says insert R34 thumbnail here. You look at the description that says today's video is about my personal experience with this creator. As said in this video, I'm not engaging further. Treasure that L, Spete, because it's the only one I will give you. Before we start the next section of this video, I want it to be abundantly clear that I only ever contacted Miss ZZ because at the time of her releasing her video, which confused people into thinking that I was this art thief, I received a copyright strike. It was too coincidental, and I believed that the information that people were getting was this person is an art thief, and they deserve to have copyright strikes for using people's art. Throughout Miss ZZ's response video to me about her experience, she demonstrates that she thinks this copyright strike that I had is not a big deal and is not severe in any way, shape, or form. But there are a lot of repercussions for having a copyright strike on your channel. It is a mark on your channel that causes YouTube to take you out of the algorithm. They stop putting you in recommended or suggested, which during the 2 months that I had the copyright strike on my channel, the monetization on my channel was cut in half. I suffered not only monetarily because of the copyright strike, but also it was extremely stressful and caused a lot of anxiety for me as well during those 2 whole months or 3 months of dealing with it. So I want to be clear that when someone issues you a false copyright strike, you have an option to contact that person. Now, if you've watched any of the videos that talk about the entire situation, you'll know that that person tried to extort money out of me in order to relieve the copyright strike on my channel, which I refused to do because it was disgusting behavior and something I wasn't going to bend to. So the only other option at that moment was for me to counter the copyright strike on my channel, which causes the other person to have to file something to the court system by hiring a lawyer and taking legal action against me in order to prove that I had damaged them by using their art in my video. So this was already well on its way to going to a legal route. And this happened before I contacted Miss ZZ. So I contacted her in order to ensure that no more people were going to be confused that I was the art thief and potentially led to believe that if I have used their art, they had all rights to issue me a copyright strike. In case you are not aware, if you get 3 strikes on your channel will be terminated. Now, to let you know, I already had 1 strike before contacting Miss ZZ. That video was causing people to still be misinformed into thinking that I was the art thief. If 2 more channels decided to issue me copyright strikes at that time, my channel was going to be terminated. That's why this was very severe, and I was honestly very afraid of what could happen in the future if people continued to be confused about this situation. This is why I contacted Miss ZZ. It is the sole reason why I contacted Miss ZZ. I will also start this off by showing a clip of Miss ZZ mocking the fact that the person that issued me a copyright strike contacted them with a statement saying this: "Hello to everyone. The @Spete also stole my art shamelessly. I open thread." Now, in this clip from Miss ZZ, she will treat this as if this is some random person contacting her, when I believe she has to deliberately not acknowledge that this is the person that issued me the copyright strike, and not acknowledge that this person is phrasing this in a manner where they believe that Miss ZZ also had her art stolen by me shamelessly. Just check this out. And you can see Angel Comics reaches out to Miss ZZ on Twitter asking for help, claiming that I have stolen her art. I find it hilarious that Miss ZZ was saying, "Oh, this isn't my fault," and then the person that's issuing me a false copyright strike is directly asking for help from Miss ZZ because she obviously saw the video and was misinformed by it entirely.
So, the person who struck you reached out to me, and that must mean I caused it. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that supposed to be a valid point? Was that supposed to be some sort of W? Holy shit, a random person replied to a content creator's tweet. Yeah, dude, that's so wild.
Okay, bear with me, because this is painfully obvious, all right? Miss ZZ is purposefully ignoring the information here, or is too stupid to realize what is actually being said in this tweet from Angel Comics and what it directly indicates. So let me explain this. Angel Comics reaches out to Miss ZZ on a random tweet, and Angel Comics says this: "Hello to everyone. The @Spete also stole my art shamelessly. I open thread." She wouldn't use the word also unless Angel Comics thought that I had stolen Miss ZZ's art shamelessly as well, which indicates to me that Angel Comics either saw Miss ZZ's video or got information from Miss ZZ's video from a third party, which convinced her that I had stolen Miss ZZ's art shamelessly, and convinced Angel Comics to come over to my channel, investigate my channel, and see the video where I used her art in a thumbnail and in the video, and then copyright strike my channel. You wouldn't say the @Spete also stole my art shamelessly unless you thought that I stole Miss Zizi's art shamelessly. That is why this directly indicates that the information Angel Comics got was from Miss Zizi's video.
Today's video is going to be a bit of a handful. I'm going to be discussing a situation which I believe got blown way out of proportion, and amazingly, it was not my fault. And I'm pretty aware that maybe some people are going to say, oh, well, you're making it worse by making a video. First of all, not only am I free to just talk about whatever I want, but as you will see in the video, I have tried my best to keep this whole thing under wraps, while the other person in the situation absolutely did not.
You can see at the beginning of this video, Miss Zizi does not take any responsibility whatsoever. She doesn't even see that she was acting petty. She doesn't see that she was talking shit on Twitter. She doesn't see that she had spread a lie on Twitter. She doesn't see that she had even caused people to be misinformed. She's not taking any responsibility whatsoever by saying here that it was not her fault and that she tried her best. If this was her best by calling somebody Weenie Hut Jr. and a weenie and talking shit online, like, oh, bro, I do not want to see her at her worst.
So, my video is up and it's doing good. However, on October 4th, I get an unexpected DM from Spete. The DM reads as follows.
Hey, Miss Zizi, first of all, I'd like to say that I'm happy that a video I made calling out those awful FNF/Among Us animation channels helped you find that your art was being traced and used excessively in those animations. While I'm happy that I was able to help with this, I would appreciate it if you could remove any information about my channel from your video. I do not want to be mentioned in your video about this subject. I'll explain why. Since you made your video, I've been targeted with harassment from people that think I am the one that stole your art and traced your artwork. People are flooding my comment section accusing me of stealing your art.
Miss Zizi does this throughout the entire video where she has her friend read my section of comments or DMs in this extremely mocking fashion where it doesn't actually represent my tone or how I felt at the time and completely devalues what was being said in those situations. After this little section of her obnoxious friend reading my DMs, they go on to show some of the comments that I was getting and mock it as if it wasn't harassment at the time. Now, maybe that's not the exact right word to describe the situation because there was hundreds of these comments. I only showed the tip of the iceberg to Miss Zizi and to people in the video that I created. So perhaps dogpiling would be a more accurate term to describe what was happening due to the information Miss Zizi had presented in her video. But even if I label this as solely dogpiling, I mean, if you look at the definition of that, it is a form of online harassment.
After I got this DM, I proceeded to do nothing. As mentioned before, and this should be pretty obvious, I have this itty bitty little thing called social anxiety.
If you cannot answer DMs from just people, don't paint people as a YouTuber with 150K subs. I'm just a person. If you can't, respond to things that are issues you've caused, then do not make content where you mention people, because if you do, more than likely people are going to reach out to you. And, it is foolish to think that you can just avoid it.
I did not mention Quick Sus because I didn't want to throw a hate mob towards somebody, but I also did not want to give him attention. I mentioned you, Spete, because your video is where I got my information from. It is really that simple. Also, I am aware that in my video, my wording for certain sections of the video is not the best. I take full responsibility for that.
So at about 7 minutes into this video, she finally admits that she had worded things poorly and takes responsibility for that. I find it funny that she doesn't say that at all at the beginning of the video. So for anybody that just watches a bit of this and dips out, thinks Spete is a hypocrite and petty, they're going to look at the video and be like, man, Miss Zizi did nothing wrong. Spete did all of this. Like, no, Miss Zizi has a responsibility here and she finally admits to some of it.
Like I said in the DM I sent you, I just don't want to be in your video. You can easily use the YouTube editor to cut the part you mentioned me in out. People are still accusing me of stealing art, so it's clear that even though you posted a pinned comment and changed the description, people aren't reading it. I know it wasn't malicious, but people are very stupid on the internet and will look at the title, watch 1 minute of a video, and then react. Unfortunately, because of the events I'm now dealing with, a false copyright strike that may go to court because the person that struck me doesn't understand fair use. All I ask is that you remove me from your video. Thanks.
I can't really do that since the structure of the video would be off if I do so. I'm sorry about that.
The fact that Miss Zizi is having her friend read the comments and DMs that I said in this mocking fashion just undermines and depreciates the value of what was being said there and the severity of the situation that I was dealing with. Remember, I have a copyright strike on my channel, which is extremely severe. There's a lot of repercussions for having a copyright strike, along with emotional damage as well from stress and anxiety about what the situation will unfold into. This is something that I wanted to alleviate as early on as possible and was very adamant that I did not want to be in the video because it was perfectly clear that Miss Zizi her information in that video was still causing people to think that I was the art thief and potentially give me more copyright strikes if more artists were convinced that I was this art thief. And I think anybody would want to be able to alleviate that or dodge that if they possibly could. And I don't think it's too far-fetched to reach out to somebody, just another person on the internet, to ask for help in a situation like that. And to be perfectly clear, as soon as she edited the video and changed it, people stopped assuming that I was this art thief, and people stopped coming to my channel commenting that they knew that I stole Miss Zizi's art. That all stopped once she edited the video, and only until she edited the video.
I didn't respond because I have this itty bitty thing called anxiety. Also, I have a lot of in real life stuff going on. I'm sorry I couldn't respond to you, but trying to push me into a corner like this isn't helping.
If someone, let's say in the Friday Night Funkin' community, came to me and asked if I could change a title or a thumbnail to help them out, and I told them, hey, you're putting me into a corner here and it's not really helping me want to change things for you, I would have my ass handed to me. There's no way I would be able to get away with saying anything like that. And it's so damn hypocritical of this community to see Miss Zizi say something like this and accept it. Like, I don't understand how people can see this information that she's presenting and support it.
I do not care about the situation that went on between him and this artist who struck him. I only care about the things he said towards me in said video. 'Cause again, I just had to be mentioned. Which reminds me, he is often critical of me mentioning his name in my video when I didn't have to. Well, dude, same could go for you here.
The reason I'm critical of her featuring my name in her video was because people were misinformed into thinking I was the person stealing the artwork.
My wording for certain sections of the video is not the best. I take full responsibility for that.
The key ingredient to me being critical of Miss Zizi featuring my name and me in her video was because it was directly causing people to think I was an art thief. And whether directly or indirectly, a copyright strike stemmed from the information presented in her video. In Miss Zizi's video, she really encourages the idea of copyright strikes and says that, she issued several copyright strikes against Quick Sus, which obviously made Angel Comics think that it was a great idea to issue a copyright strike against me.
I encourage the idea of copyright strikes. Just take that in for a second. You see, I don't encourage the act of copyright strikes. Oh, no. I just encourage the idea, at least according to Spete. So here's the thing. I believe I know where he came to this conclusion. At the very end of my video, I say this.
Aware that it is unrealistic to expect this type of content and art theft to just stop. However, as far as art theft goes, remember you can always do something about it. Your hard work is worth protecting.
Now, I have to ask the audience, where in that clip did I encourage copyright striking people.
Aware that it is unrealistic to expect this type of content and art theft to just stop. However, as far as art theft goes, remember, you can always do something about it.
Now, did I ever say that Miss ZZ was encouraging people to falsely copyright strike channels? No. Did I ever say that Miss ZZ was wrongfully copyright striking channels? No. But showcasing your experience where you do issue copyright strikes against somebody stealing your art will tell people that that is the way to handle it if it happens with them. Now, people might be confused about what is copyrighted material or fair use, and they might go after a channel that didn't break any copyright laws and use their artwork in fair use and then issue them a copyright strike, which seems like it is what happened with me. Maybe Angel Comics would have done it regardless of no matter when she saw my video, but within this timeline, things are way too close for me to think that they aren't connected. And that is why I was so adamant about saying that I did not want to be mentioned in her video. Put yourself in my shoes. You have to think from my perspective in order to understand the stress and the anxiety that occurred because of the problems that stemmed from Miss ZZ's video. Miss ZZ had mentioned my channel, but didn't mention Quick Sus as the channel that stole the artwork. So I was getting a lot of comments from people saying that I was an animation channel, that I stole art, that I'm in a lot of drama right now, or that I have so many issues around my channel because I steal art and I don't credit artists. An incredible amount of misinformation came from Miss ZZ's latest video because she mentioned me in it without mentioning the actual animation channel that stole the art.
So I have to ask, what misinformation did I spread? I am fully aware that I did not word things out quite right, but that's not misinformation. You claim that it's because I didn't mention Quick Sus but mentioned you. That does not mean I misinformed people. My wording for certain sections of the video is not the best. I take full responsibility for that.
So I can admit that I worded things poorly in the video talking about Miss ZZ and talking about Angel Comics giving me the copyright strike. But I genuinely don't know how to describe somebody fucking up a video so bad that it causes people to think that someone mentioned in that video is an art thief when they are not. I don't know how to describe it in any other way than people were misinformed or people were given misinformation. I don't know how to describe it in any other way. Now, people want to paint that as me lying about Miss ZZ, which is not true. I didn't lie about what she did. What she did was caused people to think something that was untrue about a person. And if you look at the definition of misinform, it says give people false or inaccurate information. And if you look at the definition of misinformation, it says false or inaccurate information, especially that which is deliberately intended to deceive. Now, the only thing that is a very minute factor here is that Miss ZZ didn't do this intentionally. She did it because she worded things so poorly, and she even admits that in this video, which caused people to be, I have no other word for it, misinformed. And you can see from the comment on her latest video from the person that DM'd her originally, they are apologizing for misinforming Miss ZZ. And it's not that person's fault. It's Miss ZZ's fault for wording things poorly in her video that caused people to be misinformed. I do not have another word to describe this. What word describes what Miss ZZ did? I don't know. And I can say that I worded things poorly, for sure. But did I fucking lie about Miss ZZ? No. In no way did I lie about her or about the information she presented. It was not my intention to lie about it, but I have no other word to describe that. I asked them several times that, you know, they're affecting me, that I have a copyright strike against my channel because of the video. And they, you know, made these statements saying, it's not my fault that someone issued a false copy strike against your channel. You should take it up with them. It's not my fault that people are misinformed and think that you're stealing people's artwork when it absolutely is. It was entirely her fault. There was misinformation in her video. It was poorly done. Her video was based off of emotion entirely, and it wasn't put together well.
No, it fucking isn't. Guys, I know this sounds like a wacky, wild claim, but a content creator is not responsible for the actions of anybody who engages with their content.
Now, Miss Zizi is saying she's not responsible for the behavior of people that have interacted with her content. She's not responsible for the actions that they take after watching her videos. I wish that was true. I've been held responsible for people's actions after they've watched my content. And I feel as though if people are letting this slide, then the people that have held me responsible and allow Miss Zizi to slide with this and say that she's not responsible for people's actions are entirely hypocritical.
I did not misinform anyone. I never said Spete traced my art. I never said Spete used my art without asking. That didn't fucking happen. My wording for certain sections of the video is not the best. I take full responsibility for that.
I truly don't know why Miss Zizi is so obstinately saying she didn't misinform people. She didn't do it on purpose, but the way she worded things caused people to be misinformed, and it caused misinformation to be spread.
You go on to complain about how I wasn't nice to you, and then you show a screenshot of our DMs where I was being dismissive towards you? Damn, bro, it's almost like I was dealing with somebody who was also mean and blamed me for an act that I didn't commit. How? How is it possible that in this DM you claim you aren't being malicious, but then straight up lie like this? In your video near the end, you seem to understand that what I did was a mistake, and yet you still chose to paint me in this way? You can't play both sides like this, you dunderhead!
Let me clear something up here. Miss Zizi says, how is it possible in this DM you say you claim you aren't being malicious? Is she saying that I'm claiming that I'm not being malicious and then I go and lie? Like, I don't know. Like, this has to indicate that her reading comprehension is absolutely balls terrible, because I say here in the DM, I know you didn't do anything maliciously, and that this all happened because people are stupid as F online. Did I try to lie about Miss Zizi to make her look bad? No. Did I try to indicate that people could potentially issue me more copyright strikes if I was kept in that video? Yes, that's what I was trying to do. I had already gotten 1 copyright strike at this moment. If I got 2 more from people that were informed incorrectly from Miss Zizi's video, or just people that started spreading that I was an art thief due to the information that they got from Miss Zizi's video, if I got 2 more copyright strikes in a short time frame like that, where the original one wasn't finally alleviated, my channel would be terminated. That is an extremely stressful and scary thing to deal with that caused a ton of anxiety for me and even waves of depression. I'm not trying to paint this like, oh, I'm the victim here. This is something to be considerate of when looking at this entire situation.
I just gotta point this out. You're upset that I badmouth you on my Twitter? Oh, you mean the vent tweets where I don't mention you by name? Yeah, I made tweets about how I was upset during this whole situation. This was on the 7th after I edited out his mention. Again, I did not say his name. In fact, I never had any mention of him at all on my Twitter.
So throughout Miss Zizi's video, she reads everything. She reads all the tweets, the DMs, the comments. She mocks everything from my end, having her friend read it. And then she passes over her vent tweets, her quote-unquote vent tweets, where she absolutely lies about what happened between Miss Zizi and I. She shows no evidence of what happened, probably because the way she worded things here would make her look bad and would make everybody know that she's lying about what happened between us. So these tweets from Miss Zizi on October 7th pissed me off. But what was worse was when this false information, these lies, got picked up by a news source and spread to thousands of more people. So since Miss Zizi decided to brush over this extremely quickly and not talk about it, probably for reasons that it would make her look bad and expose that she lied about things. Let's discuss this, and let me read exactly what Miss Zizi had to say. So she says this first. Anyways, after being threatened with legal action by another YouTuber because YouTubers are horrible, a single very specific part was edited out. Those of you who already watched the video will be aware of the weenie who did just that. Let me remind you of the timeline here. Miss Zizi made this tweet on the 7th, and I didn't DM her about anything legal until the 8th. So she lied about me threatening her with legal action. That's just as plain as it is. That's the truth. Granted, she didn't mention who the person was, but she gave away a lot of information, especially when she says this. For those who already watched the video, will be aware of the weenie who did just that. Who did what again? Oh, the lie where you say I threatened you with legal action because you're too stupid to know what a privacy complaint is? Okay. She goes on to quote tweet her own tweet saying this. On another note, this person's last DM to me was them trying to pass off this whole thing as a peaceful misunderstanding. I just wanted to resolve this peacefully. Also, I'm literally threatening you and being a wiener because you didn't respond to my DM. Whatever. She's paraphrasing what happened in the DMs. I never said that I wanted to resolve things peacefully. That was thrown out the window when I had a conversation with her in the comments section. All I said in DMs was that I understood that it wasn't entirely her fault, that some of, things were accidental, whatever, and that this wasn't meant to be a battle, as long as she had worked with me, which she was obstinately against. And only until she was convincing herself that I was threatening her with legal action did she edit the video. She still, to this day, has never admitted that she lied about me threatening her with legal action in these tweets. She has still not admitted that. She still has not admitted that she does not know what a privacy complaint is on YouTube. She has not admitted any of this. I want to clear some things up about the DMs that I sent to Miss Zizi, because I think some people are under the impression that I sent these out of left field and that I only sent them to her in order to threaten her, when Miss Zizi had gone on Twitter to talk trash and to spread a deliberate lie about me where she says that I had threatened her with legal action. That lie that she spread to people got picked up by a news source known as Ecuadorian Blog, which I'll go into more detail later. That news source spread that to thousands of more people. So my DMs to her were a reaction to her lying about me. Now, this is what I said in those DMs. Many people have said I could sue you for defamation and win because of the strike I am dealing with. This is actually looking pretty reasonable right now after reading your tweets about me. A privacy claim isn't legal action, but I'm sure you could care less about the finer details about things. You should watch what you say. If a copyright claim goes to court, I will be looking into what I can do about the damages you and your video have caused. So not only the video, but what she has also said on Twitter. Now, to clear things up about the mention of court, this isn't me saying I will take Miss Zizi to court. The copyright claim is already going into a legal route. If you remember what I have said from earlier in the video, when you counter a copyright strike on YouTube, it goes towards the legal system. So this is already on its way to going to court if it actually goes through. That is what I am talking about here in this DM. Now, a lot of people want to twist this into I'm saying, I will sue you, Miss Zizi, when this is something I never said. I never claimed that I had the right to sue Miss Zizi. I never claimed that I had solid evidence enough to actually sue her. I just told her, hey, you're already spreading that I threatened you with legal action. Let me tell you that you could be in trouble legally from the information that I've gotten from people. So I'm just telling her, hey, stop spreading lies. Don't spread any more lies about me. You've already done enough damage. I don't want to have any more damage caused because of you. Watch what you say about me, because you are causing more and more problems with everything you do. Because I'm sure a lot of people are unaware of what a privacy complaint is on YouTube, which is something anyone can do about any video. There's a large spectrum of what you can claim as something that is private that somebody used without your permission. This is exactly what YouTube describes as a privacy complaint. We want you to feel safe when you are on YouTube, which is why we encourage you to let us know if videos or comments on the site violate your privacy or sense of safety. If someone posted your personal information or uploaded a video of you without your knowledge, including in private or sensitive circumstances, ask the uploader to remove the content. If you can't reach an agreement with the uploader, or if you are uncomfortable with contacting them, you can request to have the content removed based on our privacy guidelines. So I had contacted Miss Zizi. She did not want to remove the content, this is something I have read in the past, this privacy complaint thing. And so at this point I was like, hey, according to what YouTube has said, I can request to have the content removed through YouTube's privacy guidelines. If you remember the timeline of events, this is what I told Miss Zizi early on, that this is something I would look into doing if she didn't remove me from the video, because this is clearly something that YouTube provides to all of its users. In no way is this a form of legal action, and in no way, in telling Miss Zizi that I was going to look into a privacy complaint, was I threatening her with legal action. I posted a tweet about this so that people knew publicly what was going on in the DMs with Miss Zizi. She sees my Twitter, she sees that I post the lol, she blocked me, but then she doesn't show that the lie she spread, that I threatened her with legal action, got picked up by a news source. And then that was the reason that I DM'd her that she could be responsible and held liable for the damages that she has done, not only with the video that she made, but with the tweets she has made as well. Now, ask yourself, why didn't she show that? It's public for everyone to see. Maybe she didn't show it because it would make her look bad, that it would indicate that she was lying on the 7th, and that I had to say something about it on the 8th.
Are you kidding me? Peaceful resolution, my ass. You really are trying to push me into a corner here. I edit out the section including you in my video. That's the extent of my involvement.
I'm going to interrupt here real quick and just say that if that was the extent of her involvement, then why did she go on Twitter, spread lies, and talk shit? If she didn't want to be involved anymore, then don't go on Twitter spreading lies and talking shit. It would be as simple as you want it to be if you hadn't done that.
You need to leave me the fuck alone.
I do not want to talk to you or about you. Keep me out of your mouth. I will pursue this legally if the time comes.
Spete, you can't be serious. You want to sue me for defamation?
I'll interrupt here and say I never wanted to sue Miss Zizi, and I never wanted things to get blown out of proportion or end up as bad as they did. And Miss Zizi in the beginning of her video wants to act like she did nothing wrong and that she's not responsible for anything, and that the other party, me, caused all of this to happen, which I don't think is true. I think both parties equally messed up here, and I don't think that either of us are in the right. And I think I can grow from this situation and do a lot better in the future.
During this whole situation, you were rude to me, lying through your teeth, and assuming things about me that I didn't do.
I can't tell if Miss Zizi is misinterpreting things on purpose or is just extremely sensitive, because you've seen all the comments, you've seen all the DMs. I was polite to her at every chance I could be. In the very beginning, I was extremely polite. And although I was firm with what I wanted, I was polite about it to the best of my ability. And it was only until she was rude in DMs and dismissive that I was kind of like, well, why is this person like calling me a weenie? And why am I trying to be so polite to them when they are being so rude? Ever since like these moments here when I was like, hey, I will issue a privacy complaint if you don't edit me out of the video. I can only assume that she really gaslit herself into thinking that I had threatened her with legal action, probably due to her stupidity. But that wasn't the case, and so her rudeness was really unwarranted. And if she thinks that like she can behave any way she wants to and people aren't going to react to that, then she's naive and foolish.
And now you want to sue me for defamation? Again, over something that I didn't fucking cause. My wording for certain sections of the video is not the best. I take full responsibility for that.
Miss Zizi has flip-flopped in this video so many times, it's ridiculous. At the very beginning, she's like, none of this was my fault. About 7 minutes in, she's like, yes, I worded things poorly. I take full responsibility for that. And then later on, she's like, I didn't cause any of this. It's like, choose one of those things, dude. Choose a side and stick with it, all right? You did cause the, like, indirectly or directly, you were the cause of all the problems that I happen to have to deal with, okay? And then continue to cause problems on Twitter with your lies and bullshit.
Near the end of October, I was informed by a friend that the first video that Spete made about me was public again. At first I thought, okay, bitch move, but then I see his pinned comment.
For whatever reason, Miss Zizi started bad-mouthing me on Twitter and spreading lies that I threatened her with a lawsuit if she didn't edit me out of her video. This isn't true. Our conversations are in the comments section, so feel free to look at them and see how difficult she was to talk to, and that I only told her I would be looking into issuing a privacy claim on the video to ensure that I get edited out of it. A privacy claim isn't legal action. She was absolutely one of the worst people I've ever had to deal with. I was nothing but polite in DMs, and she decided to spread lies about me. Many people have said that she could be sued for defamation due to the damages her video have caused. Jesus fucking Christ, this FNF community is god-awful. People also began spreading that I took this video down to hide what I said to her. I have nothing to hide. I took the video down because she asked me to. Simple as that. At the time of taking it down, I had proven my point and things were looking good. But because of Miss Zizi's lies and the FNF ban and spreading them, I am now bringing this video back so anyone can see what actually happened. I absolutely hate this fandom.
I think that it's interesting that her and her friend read this in their mocking tone, of course. She has to go over it and edit it, so she has to listen to this section. And yet she still doesn't understand that she lied about me on Twitter, which got spread to more people, which is why I DM'd her. And then I have a valid reason of why I brought the video back, because people were accusing me of hiding stuff, which is not true. And it's just absurd to me that she glosses over this and only looks at it as being a petty thing to do because she didn't like it, when there's literally clear evidence as to why I did the things I did, all painted in that paragraph.
I vented about the situation for the last time on my Twitter, and I think that sums up everything nicely. Don't know how that one YouTuber who threatened to sue me still thinks they're so great after going back on their word, making a petty video about me public again.
So let me interrupt this little rant of Miss Zizi's. She's saying that the first video I made about the situation where people were misinformed into thinking that I was the art thief was a petty video about her. But earlier in the video, she said she didn't really have an issue with that video except for a couple things. And she said that the video was mostly about how I support artists and how I wasn't the art thief.
The video overall is just talking about how he supports artists. I don't have a problem with that. I'm aware that he doesn't steal art or trace.
But then now at the end of her video, she's claiming that it's a petty video because I happen to reinstate it as being public again so that people could get the information and understand this linear story and where it all stemmed from. I encourage people to go check out that video because it's not petty. It's literally talking about how I don't steal from artists, how I support artists, how I do my best to make sure artists are mentioned in the description, blah, blah, blah. It is in no way a petty video about Miss Zizi. But hey, she likes to backpedal and change her story so that she looks better, I guess.
And making such a big fuss over the slight mention of them when they do the exact same thing in their own content. Like, buddy, you don't have room to fucking talk. Your content is about drama that doesn't involve you, and I'm more than sure that those people never wanted to be included or publicized in such a way.
There's plenty of videos, like I've said before, about me, whether they make me look bad or good or worse than bad. And like I've said, I do not care about them. I don't talk about them. I don't even acknowledge them. I've never reached out to that person being like, I don't want to be in your video. That is something I've never done. If those were things I was doing, sure, it would be hypocritical of me to mention people in my videos and then ask people to take me out of theirs. The only reason I ever asked Miss Zizi to take me out of the video is solely because of the copyright strike and solely because of the misinformation where people were directly accusing me of being an art thief. That is absolutely why. There's no other reason for it. It is as simple as that.
After this, I'm not going to say his name nor respond to anything he does. He can scream and shout in the void all he wants. Let him shout about how much of a meanie I am. I don't care.
Now, I'm just going to say this was a nothing subject. A lot of this stuff got resolved in October. Did anything happen to Miss ZZ? No. Did she have to deal with the repercussions of a copyright strike? Or did she have to battle with somebody like Angel Comics for 2 months and try to get a almost legal issue like resolved? No. The stuff that happened with Miss ZZ ended very abruptly, and that was it. And she saw no repercussions from any of the things that occurred. Her channel's still doing well. Her videos still do well. Like, there's literally nothing that happened to Miss ZZ that was bad or negative from the situation. She made her video because she didn't like what happened and she didn't want to be told to do anything, which is, I guess that's fine, whatever. But the fact that other people ran with this, these other bottom feeder channels, specifically one that I was going to work with until they made this video where they paint me as a person that said, I'm going to sue you, Miss ZZ, which is something I never said and never wanted to say to Miss ZZ. And they also painted me as a liar, but it's like, dude, I really need to know if there's another word out there that describes what Miss ZZ did other than describing it as misinformation, because nobody has given me that answer yet. Like, nobody else went out of their way to describe what that is, and there really isn't another way to describe it. Like, she says she worded things poorly, and if you word things poorly, it causes misinformation. Like, so did I try to lie about Miss ZZ? No, but a lot of people wanted to spread that, and I think from my perspective, I see a lot of people take anything that's slightly negative about me and warp it to be 10 times worse because they want to damage my name, and that's fine. I'm going to have to deal with it. I think I've even seen comments, I'll be honest, where people are like, I just want to shit on Spete every single chance I get. And I'm not trying to play victim or anything, but that's just the truth of what is going on out there on the internet with me. I don't think my viewers and I genuinely cared about this topic with Miss ZZ. Like, this is just such a nothing subject that nothing came out of. Like, nothing happened to Miss ZZ. Now, Miss ZZ's totally in the right to make the video that she wanted to make. She can talk about her experiences. That's not a big deal. Anybody else that wants to talk about this subject too is allowed to talk about it. I'm not going to tell people not to talk about things that are from the past. Like, I'm not the Friday Night Funkin' community where they think like something that happened a month ago is old news and should never be brought up again. No, that's not. It would be extremely hypocritical of me to be like, no one can talk about things that have already passed by and been resolved. So do I have anything else to say? No, not really. I think this is about it. This is my perspective of what happened with Miss ZZ and I. So I hope this clears things up. I wish a lot of people would be less biased about this. I've seen my viewers be like, hey, I don't think either person was in the right. And I can agree with that. Like, I don't think this was perfectly executed on either ends of this. So I'll see y'all next time. We're going to move on, and I'm going to just do better in the future. So later.